Right now we're going to go over how to wire and install our LED lighting. For this process you're going to need a cordless drill, a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch drill bit. Right now we have our 12 gauge electrical wire. Speaker wire will work just the same, it's a pretty low voltage light. A tape measure, a pencil, our wire cutters, and then we also have heat shrinks to connect our wires, but electrical tape or wire nuts will work just the same. Alright, so starting out we need to have our entry point for our power coming in. So we're going to start closest to the structure, and what we need to do is our wire needs to run through the bottom of the deck up to into our post. So our center of our post, which our base is 5.5 by 5.5, so 2 3/4 is going to be the center here. So we've had our post placed already and we traced it, so we know this is exactly where our post is going to go. So from one side we will mark our 2 3/4, and then from an adjoining side our 2 3/4 again. So this is the center of our post that is going to line up with the hole at the bottom. So we will go ahead and drill this all the way through the bottom, and then we will also widen the hole at the bottom of our post to make sure we have plenty of room to feed the wire through. With our 3/8 drill bit we're going to drill straight down through here. Now we're going to widen the hole at the bottom. Same 3/8 bit, we can just drill straight through. So this section here is a multi-angle bracket section, so we are not able to run our wire through the rail. So we have our first side drilled out and ready to go. We're going to go ahead and mark our second side out because the wire will have to be run up to our first LED, back down underneath our deck, and then back up to our next post. Now that we have the holes drilled into the bottom of our deck and into the bottom of the post for our LEDs going around our multi-angle brackets, we're going to run our wire through the bottom. Here is going to tape and make sure they stay together. And then we will feed this up through the bottom. So pull yourself plenty of slack. Once we have it through our deck, we're going to lay our post down next to our section where we're going to put it back into. We'll run this into the bottom of our post. So always leave yourself a little extra slack, better a little more than not enough. So we have our first wires of our main power coming in already run. Since we're going from one post to the other from a multi-angle bracket, we're going to have to join them up at the top of the post, bring them back down through the deck, run them across, and go back up to our other side of the multi-angle bracket. So anywhere where there is a multi-angle bracket or a stair bracket, you will have to go back or through the bottom of the deck through the post to wire up your LEDs. So we have our second set of wire run to the top of our post. Now we need to run it underneath the deck and then back up through on our other side. So we're gonna, on top of the deck, we'll stretch out our wiring. Always give you a little bit of extra slack, rather safe than sorry. So from here, which we'll mark with a piece of tape, we know we need to go up a 39-inch post. We're going to add 3 to 4 feet to this point from here. and then we can make our other wire the exact same length. Now we've got our wire cut to the length that we need it to. We're going to go ahead and tape this in together, make sure they stay together, and then we'll feed this in from underneath through the top of the deck into our post. Now we have our wire ran from our first 2 posts. We can go ahead and take our initial post. We'll pull any excess wire out through the top or through the bottom. And then we will set that back down on our marks that we've made previously of where our post needs to be at. So from here we can go ahead and put our spack screws back in there. This post is wired up for the next one. Now that we have our wiring set for our LEDs on our multi-angle bracket side, we're going to go over pretty much the same process for our stairs. We're going to mark it. Our stairs are going to have to go through the bottom of the deck, down the treads, up back the other side. So we'll do our same 2 3/4 from 2 sides to find our center. And there we can go ahead and drill out our deck and the bottom of our post. Now with our deck drilled out and the bottom of our post drilled, we're going to feed wire up through here and then down through the deck so we can run it down the stairs and back up our other post. Okay, we've got it fed through our top posts, and then now we have plenty of slack here when we run it underneath. So again, you're going to find that point, and you're going to add about 4 feet to that just to make sure that you have plenty of slack to feed it through the bottom post. We have our wire cut to the length we need. We're going to feed it through our top post hole here, and then we'll get underneath the deck and we'll feed it up through our bottom one. With our wire run through the bottom, we're going to feed it into our post. And then we'll pull that out through the top of the post here. With our wire run through, we can reach down here. We'll pull out plenty of slack here. And then we can go ahead and put our top post into position. So now we can go ahead and put our spack screws back in here and secure these posts. So all of our wire is run for our stair section and our multi-angle bracket section. Now we have our level section to do. So inside of our top bracket, you have plenty of space. If you take your 3/8 of an inch drill bit or your 1/2 inch drill bit and go ahead and drill a small hole right here on both ends of your level section. Now that we have our holes drilled, we're going to take our wire and we're going to feed it through the top rail. So when you're feeding your wire through, try to keep it towards the outside of your rail. In this channel here, you're going to have a lot of your screws for your connectors, so avoid all of those. Just feed it down either side of these channels. Now we have our wire fed through the other side. We're going to leave about 8 inches to 12 inches off of either side. So we have our section right next to our mounted brackets with our wire going it through. So we're going to feed that through our hole inside of our bracket. And then we'll go ahead and slip this side into place. So we don't have quite as much space in here, so set your railing section off to the side. And go ahead and start to feed your wire in. Make sure not to pull too hard so you're not pulling the wire from the other side. So once you get most of your slack taken out there, you can lift your section and drop it into your brackets and continue to pull the excess wire out. Now that all of our wire is ran, our level section's back in place, we're going to go ahead and put our stair and our multi-angle section back into place. And now that we have our railing sections back in place, our posts are set, base covers are on, our last step is to finish wiring up our LEDs to the wires we have run. On all of our LED lighting, there is a solid white wire, and then there is a wire with a gray stripe. The solid white is your positive, the gray stripe is your negative. So we have our wire just trimmed up just a little bit here. So this is our main end, so we're going to have two wires. So we're going to have our two black wires and our two white wires. So both of these need to be connected to our LED. So we'll go ahead and strip them and get them ready to attach. So here we're going to use a couple wire nuts. We're going to put both of our positives in there. And then our positive terminal from our LED. We have our wire nuts connected. Before we put it on, we're going to just let it rest off to the side. After we get the power run to it and make sure that the light is actually functioning, then we'll pop it onto our post cap. We have all of our LEDs wired up. They're still resting off to the side just in case, anything needed a better connection. We didn't have to take them back off the post. So now that we know they all have power, we'll unplug, we'll pop them back on, and then we'll be good to go. When attaching your post caps to your posts, try to get whatever excess wire you have down in there. Kind of center it as best you can, and then take your rubber mallet and tap slight on opposite sides, just kind of get it to seat down in there.